Welcome to EHC TV. This is a sports interview. I'm Logan Nestor here with head men's soccer coach Robert Richardson. How are you today, Coach?
Good, yourself?
Good. Started the season out. You've already got a win, 1-5, I believe it is. What have you seen that you've liked so far?
I think I like the energy. You know, the guys are working hard, they bring a lot of energy, they're focused, working well in training, they're trying to execute some of the things we're working on the field, you know, and they're a young group, so it's good.
You talk about the youth in the group, and we were talking a little bit before we came on. You really didn't get to do any recruiting. You kind of had to work with what you got when you got here. How has that affected your season?
I think it's just a getting to know you process. You know, a lot of the guys have played here before. We had a lot of guys coming in, new guys. So it's everybody getting to know each other and getting on the same page. You know, and that takes a little bit of time.
And Coach, your previous coaching job was at Brevard College, assistant head coach, I think it was. What were the duties of that, and how does it change, first off, going to Division III?
I think it changes in a few ways. I think going from, you know, the assistant to the head coach and role is a little bit different in terms of your responsibilities and what you take care of on a day-to-day basis. You know, in terms of Division 2, Division 3, obviously there's the scholarship element, which is at Division 2, the athletic scholarship, which we don't have at Division 3. So the recruiting's a little bit different in terms of who you're going after. But in terms of playing on the field and everything else, the game's the game.
And Coach, you're from England. When did you first come over to the United States to coach soccer?
About 10 years ago now.
And what was that first job? Can you take me through that process?
Yeah, I came over and worked for a company up in New Jersey, working with youth clubs, youth soccer clubs up in New Jersey. We did a lot of work across the age ranges. We worked with kindergarten, we worked with U7, U8, all the way up to high school and college players.
And, you know, you came over here to coach in the United States. Was that out of necessity? Was that the best job you had? Was that really a focus that you wanted to do, that you wanted to come to the United States and coach soccer instead of staying in England?
I think it was a career change. I had the opportunity to come over and do it, and I decided that's what I wanted to do. You know, I've been coaching a lot back home in the youth setup and things like that. Again, you know, in the community back home, and this gave me the opportunity to come over and try it full time.
All right, talk about the difference in youth soccer and what you're doing now in collegiate soccer. Still amateur soccer, but the makeup has to be a little bit different.
It is. You know, I think there's a lot of differences. You know, especially from, you know, outside of the US to the US, in terms of who plays and what level that they play at. You know, back home, the way it's structured, you end up in the youth academies for the professional sides at a very early age and work your way through. Over here, it's slightly different. The route takes you through high school, college, and then into the draft. So there's some differences.
Talk about the different levels. Obviously, England is the sport. Soccer is the sport, or football over there in England. Where in the United States, it's the third or the fourth sport. Have you noticed a difference in attitude towards the sport because of that?
I think there is. I mean, obviously football, American football, baseball, basketball, you know, they're big sports over here, and it'll take soccer a while to get into the market and increase, you know, the participation rates within that. But I think you can say that even within the last 10 years. You know, soccer is there's more of it on TV, there's more of it on radio, it's easier to find out what the results are, it's talked about. I think the participation has probably grown quite a bit as well. You know, and I think this next generation, as it gets older, you'll see a lot more of it. You know, you're starting to see the MLS games and the Champions League games on TV over here.
Now, what about the level of competition? Obviously, everything's structured a little bit differently, but for guys about the same age in England and about the same age in the United States, what's the difference in the level of competition?
I think that there are differences in the level. I mean, back home, you know, at this kind of age, you'll see a lot of guys working or playing for the pro teams. Mm-hmm. You know, Arsenal's a case in point. They have a lot of young guys on their squad. You know, so I think that chance to break through is probably quicker over there than it is over here. But I think, you know, you go through the college system here, you go into the draft, and, you know, I think there's the opportunity to go play. I think it's just different the pace that you make those changes at. But I think that could change as well, because a lot of the, you know, the big clubs over there are starting to have scouting systems over here, and I think that'll change over time.
And you've started at Emory and Henry now, of course, coming from Brevard. At Emory and Henry, how long do you plan to be here coaching our men's soccer program?
Hopefully for a long time.
I think that's the answer that everyone wanted to hear. And Coach, kind of a rough start to the season, 1-5, but a lot to build off of. I attended the first home game. Talk a little bit about some of the guys, some of the young guys who have impressed you.
I think the first home game there was an interesting game for us. We didn't really get to grips in the first half with the game. I think it was probably, first home game. Everybody was a little bit nervous, wanting to impress, and we didn't really work the way we have done in some of the other games. I think second half we started to calm down and get into the game a little bit more. In terms of the younger guys, I think they've all impressed me, in different ways. Some with their level of play on the field, some with their leadership qualities. So I think they've all brought different things to it.
And Coach, obviously you're a soccer coach in Emory and Henry terms, but you're also Robert Richardson off the field. So what's it been like moving to a new region from Brevard to Emory and Henry, but especially from different cultures in England to here? Has that been kind of a shell shock for you?
No, I think the initial shock got over with, when I took that first job in Jersey. Since then, the way the job works, I've moved around, when the opportunities have come up. And this is not a big jump, I don't think, from Brevard to over here in terms of location. And that was one of the things that attracted me to the job, was the location. I like this area of the country, and I think it was a good fit.
Now, did you have other opportunities other than Emory and Henry, or was this your real first head coaching opportunity?
This was the one that I really wanted, yeah.
Well, Coach, we're certainly lucky to have you here and glad that you're here with us on set today, but more so at the college. I'm Logan Nestor. That was Coach Robert Richardson for EHC TV. We'll send it over to news.